So when I was in high school, I dated a lot of boys. Really, like a lot of boys. And my mother, she said that she wasn't worried about me, she was just worried about those poor boys, which is not very supportive when you think about it, but she was right. So I would pick out boys because their hair or their eye color looked good with the prom dress I wanted to wear. Or I would pick out boys because they had cool sweaters and I wanted to wear their sweaters. But as soon as their class ring got a little heavy and got annoying, I would just dump them, right? Because I was bored. Thank you, next. So I have bags up in the attic somewhere of all these notes they wrote me, saying they would love me forever. And their names are like Steve and Rich and everything. I have no idea who half of them are. And just in case you're judging me harshly, I stand behind that because at 15, really, nothing should be forever. But of course, eventually I was going to have to meet my match, so I did. At 21, I was living in New York City, starting my career, paying my own bills. I thought I was all grown up, and you could not tell this girl anything. But I was standing in line in Central Park, waiting to have my turn at a public water fountain, because I swear to God, you stand in line for everything in New York. And this really cute guy started talking to me, and he was a bomb specialist from Israel. And I was like this vanilla white girl from Connecticut, so definitely he was winning in the interesting category. And he had asked for my number, and the line was so long, by the time we got up to the line, he had asked me to dinner at his apartment that night. And so, of course, I went, right? He lived in a really bad neighborhood in this dingy fourth-floor walk-up. And as I'm climbing up these greasy, dark stairs, I'm starting to question how intelligent it is to go out with a person you've never met on a date in his apartment. But back then, I kind of shot from the hip, which really just is code for stupid. Stupid. It's not a good idea if anyone's thinking about it. But I go in and I check out his apartment because I'm so aware. And I look, and he had a folding card table and a folding chair. And he had a twin bed and a bike, and all of his clothes neatly piled up in a line in the hallway. And that was it. And so I said, how long have you lived here? And he said, about 2 years. So dinner was going to be these Korean barbecue takeout chicken wings and canned spaghetti. But since he only had one chair and one plate and one fork, we were going to have to sit on the floor and take turns eating. Some of you at this point would probably walk out the door, but not me. I found this irresistible. He was so exotic, right? And he was just a man, He lived life his own way, and he didn't know about decorating at all. And obviously, he needed me to fix him. So I moved in with him that day. And we were secretly married in 3 months. And just in case you think that sounds romantic, it was not. So first of all, my parents met him, and they hated him. And so they found out we were living together, and they were like, we're never speaking to you again. So they weren't talking to me. But I thought for sure, once they got to know him, they would come around. My friends wouldn't hang out with us either because they thought he was a bully, and they didn't like how he talked to me, and they were afraid of him. So I didn't have them around either. And he needed to get married because he needed a green card. He needed to marry a U.S. citizen. And I loved him so much. I didn't want to be the person to get him deported. It didn't feel right, though. This whole thing didn't feel right to me. But at this point, I really had nobody left to ask. So it took me 2 tries to go into the courthouse. But I did it. I went into the courthouse, and we said our vows, and I promised to love and cherish him forever. Well, forever is a really long time. So we lasted about 5 years, and he was just terrible. But eventually, I broke free and I started my adult life all over again. And this time, actually, I was a lot wiser and more mature than the first time around. And I just have to say, by the way, my parents never did find out that I had ever been married. I just decided, I thought maybe it would come up one day, and weirdly, it never did. And I knew that it would hurt their feelings and it would upset them. And, there'd been enough hurt for all of us, so I just decided to leave it alone. Thank you.